Hello, my name is Thomas Karbowski, and this is Project 1. The first thing we're going to do is go over and open Fluent. And once that opens, and then we have to go into the geometry, and we want to change it to a 2D analysis type, because just for what we're trying to build. Then once that's good, we have to go into New Design, Modeler Geometry, and open that up, which is going to take a second. And waiting. Perfect. So then once we're in here, we want to set the units to inches for what we're working with. And we're going to be working in the XY plane, and we want to orient it to the Z axis. So then once we get that, we're going to go into sketching, and we want to start drawing the lines for our models, but I'm going to move the model first, so that way it's in a better spot. It's right there, and then we're going to move this over. Perfect, zoom out a little bit. Oh, move it back over. All right, now this should be good, and we can start going back into sketching. And we're going to draw our first line for where the inlet's going to be. And I'll start this along the y-axis. I want to try to make this with the x-axis running through the center, because it's going to be useful later on. So I'm going to set the midpoint with this tool and constraints. All right, and that should be good. Then I'm probably just going to go and get the dimensions of this and set this to the right size. So we have V1. I'm going to set this to 22 inches, I believe. And yes, 22 inches. Next, I'm going to draw the rest of the settling chamber. And then the rest of the wind tunnel. So drawing a line there and here. And then the test section. Oh, hang on. I'm going to delete this line. And still working on this. Next, that part. Gotta delete this one as well. And then right here now you can kind of see the shape of our wind tunnels that's going to be. So I just have to go in now and set the dimensions of everything to what we're looking for. See what they're all at right now, so that way I can just go in and change it. That one, that one, and that one. Perfect. So now first one we're going to go is H2, which should be 15, and then go to 4, which should be L3, I mean. Set that one to 24. And H4 going to set to 12. And then go over to L5, which should be 42. Yep, that looks right. And then pretty much do the same for the other side. So I'll start at H9, which should be 15. And then obviously we have L8, which should be 24. Yes. And then back over to H7, which should be 12 as well. And then finally L6, which should be 42 as well. Okay, and it's looking really good. I think this is pretty good. Next, we need to go and get the correct angles. So we're going to click on L5 and H4 to get the correct angle, and we want to have 3 degrees. So we're going to set this to 177 to get the correct angle, and then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And hang on, I'm going to have to delete this one for a second. Perfect. Okay, now try again. Okay, perfect. So now we want to set this one to 183 and should get that 3 degrees of angle on the other side. And yeah, everything is starting to come together. I just want to make sure that they are at an equal distance between the two lines, so that way the x-axis is running down the middle, because that's going to be helpful for later on. Once we do that, we can make sure that it's set to 3 inches, because we want a test section height of 6 inches. So we want to set that one to 3 inches, and then we got to come over here and do the same thing to the other side. So, which should be 3 inches as well to get that test section height. And perfect, everything is looking good. It looks even. Then last thing that we need to do is to close the system and connect it over here. Perfect. So this is looking really good. Yep, and that is good. Next thing we need to do is go over to modeling, and we want to perform the surface from sketches, and then we obviously want to use our current sketch, sketch 1. So we can just go to expand this, because that's where our sketch is, sketch 1, and apply. Next thing we need to do is to generate it right here. Perfect. And so now you see we have a nice generated model, and that should be good for the next step that we have to do. Next, we want to just save this, because it's a good time to save. Want to make sure, just in case anything crashes, or if this needs to be used later, I'm just going to save this as the project 1 video. Perfect. I'm going to save that. Okay. and see it's saved, but just want to double check. And we're going to update this just to make sure that everything's good. All right, next thing we want to do is open the mesh. And it's going to take a second. Okay, perfect. Now we got the mesh back up. We see that our model is in here. And next thing we want to do here is go Insert, Method, and after that loads, we want to just select our model because we're using our mesh, or I guess our model that we created, and we're going to apply. Okay, so now you see that's working, and we want to choose our method, which we're going to use triangles in this case, which you can use different ones, but for this case, we're going to use triangles, and then we just have to, where's it at? Go home, and we want to generate this. Okay, good. It's generated, so now should be taking a second. Oh, it's in mesh. Perfect. See, now you see right here. This is a good start. This is what we're looking for. And then we're just going to change the element size, just make it a little bit more in depth, but perfect. And we have to regenerate this. And you can see we have a much smaller triangles for hopefully a better reading. Next thing we have to do here is use the edge tool and mark out our edges. Yep, right here. Oh. Control, and then you want to go and select all the edges of the walls of the wind tunnel. And then once these are all selected, that's good. We can press N on the keyboard and name what we want this selections to be called. I'm just going to call this wind tunnel walls. Perfect, that should be good. And we're gonna save that. Perfect. And then we obviously want to select the inlet, so we're gonna select it, and then we're gonna press N again and name it wind tunnel inlet. Okay, that looks good. We're gonna save this. Lastly, we have to go over here and press N again. And we're going to go and name this the wind tunnel outlet. Okay, good. So now we can move on. We have all those showed up right here. As you see, all of our names are right there. And then we just want to make sure that we have to update the mesh and make sure that everything's saved, and hopefully a check mark. Yep, so perfect. We got the check mark. That's what we're looking for. That's good. Next thing we have to do is go into the setup. And once the setup loads, we're going to do double precision and 2 solver processes. And that should be good. We're going to start that up. Should just take a second. Second, I have to just allow these different pop-ups. I don't know why they're showing up again, but 1 second. Okay, I'm just gonna pause this. All right, so close all the pop-ups and everything opened up. Next thing we want to do, sorry about that. I just want to get everything loaded. We're gonna go to, make this full screen, go to energy, and you want to turn the energy equation on. Okay. Next thing we gotta do is go to the viscous, and we want to change this to K epsilon. Right there, yep. And then we just need to make this as enhanced wall treatment. Right there, yeah, that should be good. And then we want the pressure gradient effects and the thermal effects. Okay, I think, which should be good. And we're gonna go and okay, so save all this. Okay, that looks good. Next thing we have to do is go to boundary conditions. Taking a second. Try this one more time. Open that up. Okay, perfect. So now you can see it's our saved ones from earlier. And we're going to go into the wind tunnel inlet once that loads. And this is where we want to set the velocity magnitude, which we found using the 40 hertz in the provided equation. And once you get the text section, you can backtrack to you end up getting a velocity magnitude of 2.61387227 or 727, which should be good. That's what we want. And then we just want to apply this. Okay. I think to apply. Okay. Should be good. Now we can just close that out. Next thing we need to do is go ahead and initialize the wind tunnel and get everything running. Okay, that should have initialized everything. And lastly, we just have to go and run the calculations, which number of iterations. You can choose a different number, but for this purposes, 150 should be good for the number of iterations. You just want to make sure that everything runs smoothly. And you're going to see some numbers pop up at the bottom of the screen, which should show that it's working. Second. Try this one more time. Okay, perfect. All right, so that looks good. We have the information going. You see it's running the number of iterations that we chose. And once it gets to the desired amount, it's going to save. Calculation is complete. Perfect. We're going to click OK on this. And then next, we get to go over to graphics and click on contours to look at our different contours. Should be just taking a second to load here. Perfect. So we can see we have static pressure, which is first one of the ones that we needed. So once we have the static pressure, we can just do save display, and there you go. We can take a screenshot of the static pressure, And then we next want to choose the total pressure, which is right here, and then save display. And there you go. And we can get a screenshot of that one as well. And then the next one that we want to go over is the dynamic pressure. Save display. Perfect, right here. And then now we take a screenshot of that one. And lastly, of the contours, we just need to switch this from pressure to velocity, and we have the velocity magnitude, which is what we have this want. And then we save display, and there you go. That's the last one we need, and we can take a screenshot of that as well. So from here, we can close this now and go over to our plots. And we want to go to an XY plot, which is good. And this is where it's going to be very useful for us that we have the X running down this as our center line. We're going to line/rake. And if the end to end from 0 to the end of the wind tunnel should be in meters is 2.3259, and that should be good. Now that we have that, we can just create our line. Everything, those numbers should be good. We want type line, and first we gotta name it, which we're just gonna call this one wind tunnel center line. Okay, perfect. Should be a good name, and then we can just create this. And that created, I think, which is good. Yeah, it says we're on line 6 now, so we're good. That's created. We're going to close that. And from there, we can select it, which is going to allow us to get our XY plots. Just going to try to position this in a good spot real fast. Okay. And yeah, okay, so we're going to start with static pressure. Save plot. Hang on, let's try this. It's taking a second to load, maybe. Okay, perfect. There we go. It loaded up. Just had to try that again. And next, we can go to, we want to save all this information. So we're going to write the files, and we're going to save this as our, right here, we want to go into our files. We go to, where's that? The aerodynamics file right here. Perfect. And then we can just name this file. And we're going to call this static pressure. Yes, static pressure. Okay, perfect. And we're going to save that. And that's how you would save all different charts. And then you can just look at those. And we want to write the file so that way we can save it and import that into Excel. But the next one we're going to look at is the last couple plots, which we have static pressure. And then we have absolute pressure. There's that plot right there. And then we have the absolute pressure. And total pressure right here, which is good. And then we want dynamic pressure. So that should be all those plots from the pressure that we need, which looks good. Lastly, we just have to go to velocity magnitude. And yeah, that's our last plot. And so now you can just go and take all of these and just save these to your files and import Excel. So thank you for watching the video.